Former Real Housewives of Atlanta star Porsha Williams is slamming Tamron Hall for not being supportive when she was on her show promoting her book, Pursuit of Porsha. And this is all coming out because of the recent Angela Yee drama from her interview on Tamron Hall. Is Tamron Hall trying to be the next Wendy Williams?
How you doing?
Welcome back to the Kempire Daily YouTube channel, your #1 source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. So, I don't know if you've been following the Angela Yee drama that's been going on since her interview with Tamron Hall this past week. We will talk more about it during our Tuesday takeover at 12:30 p.m. Eastern today. But just to give you a quick synopsis, basically Angela Yee on this conversation with Tamron Hall said that she was the only woman in the room when it came to doing the Breakfast Club. So there were times where she took the brunt of the backlash because of what these guys were saying and how it was uncomfortable for her. She's now come out to explain herself a little bit more when she talks about being the only woman. Well, as you also know, since Angela Yee's departure from the Breakfast Club, they've been having celebrity guest co-hosts. And this week, it's Porsha Williams. So as you know, Porsha has quit all of her jobs, but she will be returning to Housewives for Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip Season 3, which is coming at the end of this month. So she's guest hosting and she chimes on on her perspective when it comes to Tamron Hall. And she says that she did not feel supported by Tamron.
If she probably had a chance instead of talking to Tamron, she would have been able to expound on that. But when you have someone like a Tamron talking to you and she's giving you accolades and she's, raising you up to do nothing but set you up to say something that's going to be catchy and she can look like a journalist, then that's where you find Angela in this place, trending for the wrong thing.
What you said just now is interesting, Porsha, because I feel like Tamron Hall and her producers got together at some point and said, look, Wendy Williams is leaving, so somebody on daytime TV has to be messy. Because it feels like Tamron has been being messy on that show lately. Is it just me?
Hidden mess.
Okay.
It's a hidden mess. I went on Tamron's show and I was so excited. Okay. I mean, she's a beautiful black woman. She's, branched off, got her own show.
Absolutely.
I did not necessarily feel supported on her show.
Really?
Did I expect her to agree with everything? I was promoting my book, The Pursuit of Porsha. I didn't expect her to agree with everything. But there was a turn where it turned from just her asking questions about the book to her kind of almost attacking me, almost making me feel like I had to justify anything that I had going on, and it just didn't feel good.
Right.
So here's the thing. When I saw this clip, I said, let me go back and watch this interview because I vaguely remember the interview, and I remember Tamron calling Porsha out first for when are you getting married? And then she was like, well, I'm Southern, and in Southern, and Tamron's like, I'm Southern, I'm from Texas.
When is the wedding? When is the wedding?
Right now, we haven't set our date. We are dating right now. He's still courting me, in the South.
How are you engaged and dating?
You don't date your husband?
No, I married him.
You should be dating. You should be keeping the excitement going. We're enjoying each other.
You're engaged to be married.
Right, and I'm still his special sweetheart. We are in the honeymoon phase. We're enjoying each other. Yeah, it'll come.
Okay.
Come again. And when you get engaged, you set a date. And she basically was like, well, we're courting right now. And a lot of us did not believe she was going to marry Simon Gobadia. She's now married Simon Gobadia. Not only that, they cover a lot of different things during this interview. To me, it was actually a good interview. It turned left towards the end, but not because I felt like Tamron was attacking Porsha, but she was asking Porsha what everyone has been wondering about during this time. So when we look at the whole Tom Sandoval and Ariana drama, that is nothing in comparison to when the news broke that Porsha Williams was dating and engaged to Fallon's husband because he was still married at the time. That was a time to be alive.
Woo.
There's a lot going on.
Just saying. We covered all of that. Then we got that spinoff, Porsha's Family of Lies. Well, I had to go back and look at this interview. So there were some hot button moments. One of those hot button moments was, okay, you're engaged. When are you getting married? And she's like, we're in the courting process. And we were like, okay, girl. She's like, no. When you get engaged, you set a date, not courting. Courting is one thing. Being engaged is another thing. So there was also this conversation about him cheating. And she's like, well, he's Nigerian. And she's like, what does that mean? Well, in their culture, but we're not going to be doing that. Then it gets even more hot towards the end because Tamron brings up the obvious, because this interview is from a year ago. So apparently Porsha has still been holding on to this since then. So towards the end of this interview, Tamron is like, everyone is reacting to the fact that you were supposedly friends with this woman, Fallon, and now you're with her husband. And Porsha really tried to sugarcoat it and was like, well, she's pregnant now and she's engaged and she's happy. And we're all happy. We're all adults. And
repeatedly comes up is, was there some type of line crossed with a friend in the show that has set you off on this journey where people feel like they should chime in? So the backstory for people who don't know, Simon was introduced on the show with his then wife, Fallon. At some point, that marriage ended, and you and Simon announced on social media that you were a couple. Mm-hmm. People seem to believe that you'd crossed a friend line, that you'd broken some girl code. What is the real story here?
And that's okay. I dealt with everybody's opinions, but really it was the emotion of my supporters. Because they, like, oh my gosh, Porsha wouldn't dare do this. Oh my gosh, she's a husband stealer and all that. Listen, I'm on a show. Real Housewives of Atlanta is a show meant for entertainment. When we bring people on the show to try out to be casted, they have to be brought in by another cast member. And sometimes those things are kind of put in a way other than how it actually is.
So it's fake. You weren't really friends.
I wanted to be. What I wanted for her was to introduce her into the show for her to be a housewife. But it didn't work out. She ended up wanting to be friends with someone else. And,
my head is spinning.
Long story short, they didn't choose her.
Yeah.
Was she a friend of mine? No. She was going to be casted on the show. It didn't work out for her. Simon and I actually have mutual friends, and I've met him over the years here and there. And, so for me, there was no personal connection with her when it came to him. So that's the thing that people didn't know that caused them to really, come hard at me. And so may not always match up, but now hopefully people get what's happening.
And what is happening is that you feel you have found true love.
Well, she's just delivered a baby, so congratulations. It's in order. She's engaged, so all adults involved are happy. Yeah.
The bottom line is, though, you have found someone you believe that is your life partner.
That is my life partner, for sure, absolutely.
Really try to sugarcoat it when people that are fans of the show saw how this played out and probably at this point are still confused. But now everyone, I guess, is happy. Fallon has moved on with her life. Porsha has moved on with her life. Since then, Porsha has finally married Simon Gobadia. But I do find it interesting that she's still holding on to animosity from this interview. Because if you go back, it is available on Tamron's YouTube page. If you go back and you watch the interview from beginning to end, Tamron, first of all, she is a journalist. I know they are trying to make it seem like she's trying to be the next Wendy Williams, Charlemagne, the next Wendy Williams. No, very much like any show, any YouTube channel, they want to, especially if they're doing an interview, a lot of their intention is to get a moment if they can. Some people are just so obvious in doing it. But Tamron Hall is a journalist. So she's going to go there with the questions. I'm willing to bet money. If you go back, and may she rest in peace, Barbara Walters was one of those journalists that went there with the questions. I honestly believe a lot of these journalists don't go there anymore. Not like how Barbara Walters used to. If anything, I feel as if Tamron is sort of going there because she does look up to someone like Barbara Walters as a journalist. But I also don't feel like she was trying to have some sort of moment. She was asking the questions of that moment that were hot button questions that the entire world wanted to understand and know. And she gave you this platform to promote your book that's talking about your life. Well, this is a part of your life. This is part of what's going on. People would have criticized Tamron if she didn't ask you those questions. They were like, oh, here we go with another softball interview. I'm just saying, let's be honest. And the fact that Porsha is still holding on to this, it's sort of like, really? What happened with Angela Yee, I don't believe is a great correlation to your interview either, because I feel like at the end of the day, Tamron was just asking Angela Yee questions. It was what Angela Yee said on the show, which I don't think was that bad. It had nothing to do with Tamron and her supporting you. My thing is, Tamron bringing you on her show, promoting this book, was support. And the way this interview ended with Tamron was she was talking about, thank you for sharing your abuse and all the things that you've gone through. A lot of people don't talk about this. This was a solid interview. It was you getting sensitive about your story and what's been playing out in front of the world and that you've cashed in on with your own reality show. It's so interesting how some of these reality stars and celebrities like to spin the story that is very obvious to the world. Porsha, just when we thought you really had evolved, we had the Simon Gobadia situation, and just when things have sort of simmered around you, you remind us, Porsha will be Porsha. Guys, I want to know your reaction to the recent clip that's going around with Porsha saying that Tamron Hall did not support her when she was on her show. Let's continue this conversation, constructive conversation, in the comment section. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. I'll see you at 12:30 p.m. Eastern for our Tuesday takeover. Thanks for watching.
You bring the lighter, I got the fuse.